Okay, I am here with Llewellyn, who runs a business called
Conscious Homes.
Yep. He's an architect and a builder, and we're going to talk a little bit about the principles of green design and building. You mentioned there's 7 different approaches that you take to...
There's 7 principles or priorities, and I'll work my way down the list. The first one is about location, being located within a network of community and services to minimise, major infrastructure.
Yep.
So location is important. The second one I'd always design for is passive solar design, so that your house is naturally thermally efficient. The third one would be around materials, selecting materials for lowest environmental impact, the smallest footprint on the planet.
And locally sourced is better.
Locally sourced tends to be the solution, and also in an affluent country, we can repair damage we do better than in countries where people are getting exploited and materials are getting exploited. So yes, locally produced tends to be the answer. After that, I'd look at, of course, rainwater collection and harvesting for 100% domestic supply and in commercial buildings as well. Then I'd definitely look at up to 5 solar heating for hot water.
Yeah.
So the hot water can be solar heated for both domestic and for heating.
Yes.
Solar hydronic slab heating. Backed up with gas or other systems, but generally you can pretty much build a house in this environment, Melbourne, that doesn't need to be heated or cooled.
That is an amazing thing when you think about the dollars people spend on their energy bills.
Without the heating on or any cooling, this house has a temperature range of 18 to 24 degrees. Might get up to 26 in a heat wave in summer. With the air infiltration, that might be a little bit different after a long period of heat wave, but generally that's the temperature range. So even without any heating in winter, the lowest temperature is 18 degrees. So we don't need
Unbelievable. Let's talk a little bit about green trades. You were describing how there's a move within the different trade areas towards sustainability. How is that playing out in your...
Okay, I'll just go 6 and 7.
Let's do it.
6 and 7.
Oh, yes!
Was capturing wastewater and reusing for, obviously, distributing around the property to grow gardens and do those sorts of things.
Great.
In extreme cases, we could reuse that for drinking water again, but we don't need to because we just have enough rainfall. And number 7 is electricity generation by photovoltaic or other alternative energy sources. However, that's the last one, because if you do all the other things right,
you need less of that.
It's much easier to save energy than to produce it, and more resource efficient.
So in terms of that question of how expensive it is to design and build sustainably, a lot of it has to do with the actual paces that you take. And
and it's the implementation of those things. And also it's about getting away from biggest is best to small and efficient is beautiful and is a machine to live in, and its appropriateness. We have to question our constructs about what a house is and what a building is and what it needs to do for us, and look at our real needs rather than some imagined thing, you've got to have it look like grandma's house, or we have to have 60 squares to show off to the neighbours. It's more like, what do I need to live in? And when we compare that to other countries around the world, there's an old prayer at church they used to say about the equitable distribution of resources around the planet. There's something important about that we look at having an equitable distribution of resources, so that people's expectations start to meet in the middle and the whole planet can use resources and use one planet, not 10 or 12. So
and given that 1.6 billion of us don't have access to clean drinking water, there's a bit of a gap there.
That's right. So we need to be more realistic in our expectations. But saying that, building high-end environmentally sustainable design buildings gives you very comfortable
and very lovely, actually,
that are quite pleasant to live in. So people need to readjust to see that what the important things are in life and start to hook in. So that's where I come from.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about the trades, because there is a practical question here. You need different service delivery, different ways of thinking, and understanding about how to install different technologies. And
right, so that's finding good green plumbers and tradesmen, as you say, electricians who know about photovoltaics.
Yes.
Pardon me, and even smart systems. There's smart systems that can save energy and save money. I tend to go a combination of technologies, high-tech and low-tech.
Yep.
There's some products that are high-tech, such as beams that are very high tech that have a lot of air, and there's a lot of timber and, you know,
Right.
with air in the middle. So resource efficiency sometimes can be high tech,
Mhm.
but resource efficiencies can also be manual systems like not using electricity to open your highlights. You do it with a window winder.
Ah, there you go.
These north-facing highlights that bring the beautiful sun in winter and
Yes.
keep it out in the summer. Also do natural ventilation.
Uh-huh.
The cool south air will
Yeah.
just naturally convect up here to the warm thermal chimney and draw through without
And
a
if you
fan.
have little kids that climb onto the cubby hole using the rock climbing edge by the fridge, it turns out to be a good idea to have good cooling.
Yes, and so all this works.
So how do we find these green plumbers and sparkies and
People
chippies?
who know about green plumbing, it tends to be tradesmen who have their original solid qualifications as
Yes.
tradesmen, and they're
Yes.
good plumbers or good electricians.
Yep.
They tend to be the better plumbers and the better electricians who want to then go a bit further and have an edge in the market, and also have a conscience, you know.
And
people
and
who-
here in Victoria, is there an accreditation across each of those trades that people should look for?
There are,
Yep.
yeah, there's green plumbers, and I can't remember the name of the electrician.
Global Green Electricians. There you go.
Thank you for that prompt, yeah. So,
Yeah, yeah.
yes, there are people, and people I'm associated with are obviously those accredited
Connected to
people.
that group. We look forward to featuring them very, very highly on this website and
Great.
to getting your views because they're really important. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Llewellyn, have you got 1 minute just to say something about